Hello, everyone, and welcome you all to another chapter of the MS Word tutorial. So now we are on our chapter number 5, where we'll be learning about bullets and numbering in MS Word. Okay, so in this chapter, we're gonna learn about bullets and numbering, that how you gonna use the bullets and how you gonna number inside your Word document. So let's not waste much time and let's get started. So over here on my screen, as you guys can see now, I'm here in the home page of the MS Word. And the first thing what I'm gonna do over here is let's create up a blank document. Okay. So as I do have created a blank document, let me just create few lines. Let's put 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and I'll just type 7. Okay. So as you guys can see over here, now I do have written all of these things in separate points or in separate line. But sometimes what happens is, let's say if I want to number this, and if I do want to do that, then I just have to type 1, then I do have to put the full stop, and it will basically show me as numbering. But what I want to do is I want to automatically number these things over here. Okay. So there are different ways of how you guys will be able to do that. But before that, let me just change the layout a little bit. Let me just bring it a bit down that you guys will be able to see it properly. So I do have put on some indentation and spacing on top. Again, let's go to the home tab. And over here, you guys can see there are three options for bullets. And here we do have numbering. And this is basically multi-level list, okay, which is a combination of different kind of bullets. Okay, like there is numbers, there is letters. We will be talking about three of these things over here into this particular class in detail. So first, let's start with the bullets. So over here, if you do want to put bullets in all of your points over here, the thing you need to do is make sure to select all of it. And I'll also tell you guys about different kind of shortcut. Let's say you only do have points over here and you want to select each and everything present inside your Word document. You guys can use shortcuts, as I do have already told you guys in my previous class that once you're working in a Word document, you need to know the shortcuts that are mostly being used, because that is quite efficient. It will save a lot of your time. So in that case, you guys can just use Control A to select everything. And if you just click on Control D, here you guys can see that you will get all these options right over here. Like if you do want to put on a strike through and all, okay, if you do want to put any kind of subscript and stuff, here you do have the advanced option of the font using the Control D. Okay, so these are few of the shortcuts which you guys can use. So for me, let me just click on Control A for now. And as I do want to use bullets, I will come here, and if I just click on this bullet option here, by default, you guys can see that over here I do have this particular bullet. Okay, so over here it's just a dot over here, but there are a lot of kind of bullets that you guys can use. Okay, it's not that the bullet signs which is already there by default you have to use that only throughout. Let's say you don't want this kind of bullet, but you do want a different sign style in your bullet. So in that case here, you guys can see there is an arrow mark over here. So make sure to click on that arrow mark. And here you guys can see that there are a lot of options. Okay. So whenever I'm just hovering mouse over these bullets, you guys can see on my screen or on my Word document, those are also being changed accordingly. So as you guys can see, once I just hover this, you guys can also get this preview as well. And if you guys thinking that, well, these are not the only ones that are available. Like if you don't like it from here as well, what you guys can do is you guys can come here, and here you guys can see that you guys will be able to apply a different kind of list as well. Okay, so over here, you guys can check their level if you do want to indent it on the right hand side. More here, you guys can see if you do want to indent it, it will indent a bit on the right hand side. You guys can actually change the level from here. So I do want it to keep it on the extreme left. That's why I do have chosen the first one over here. And also here, you guys will be able to define a new bullet style. Let's say whatever bullets are present over here, I don't like any of them. I want to use something new. In that case, what you can do is you guys can just click on define new bullet. And from here, now you guys can basically click on symbol. And basically over here, you guys can actually get a lot of symbols. So just scroll it over, and here you guys can see there are a lot of options available. And instead of symbols, if you do want other things, let's say if you want some of these things over here, if you want all of these words over here, you guys can basically get all these things right over here as well from your font. Okay, so you guys can basically get those from your font. And also here you guys can see, you guys can actually check out the subset as well. And let's say from here, I want to take this particular bullet. Okay. And what I want to do is I will just click on OK right over here. And as you guys can see here, now it's showing me that it will basically add this particular bullet. And also if you want to check out font, you guys can come here and basically take any other type of font as your bullet as well. Let's say if I just select this one, I can select the font style as well. Once I have selected the font, I can select the font style. Like it totally depends on the type of font you're using, because some of them don't have any font style. Few of them do have a font style, but most of them, they don't have a font style. Okay, but here, as you guys can see, I have taken the brush script empty. It do have two, which is italic, and the other one is bold italic. So I can basically select over here. Let's go with bold italic. I can select the size as well. From here, if you want to put any kind of color to it, here you guys can also check the preview. And if you do want to put any color for the underline, you guys can also do that. And once you're done, you guys can just click on OK, and basically click on OK right over here to apply the bullet which you do have created. And again, if you do want to check, you guys can come here and basically you guys can check accordingly. So here you guys can see, once I do have a defined new bullet here, the bullet is basically being defined. So I will just go to font, and let me come here. If I just go here, change the color, and again, let's come here. Let's click on OK. So I'll just click on OK right over here. And instead of this, let me select some different options over here. Okay, so you guys can basically select this one. And also if you want to clear all the formatting, okay, you guys can come here and basically clear all type of formatting right over here. So if I just put on the bullet, you guys can see that I have actually reset all the settings which I did have done before. So let's go to layout, and let's bring it down a bit over here. Let's select it. And now I hope you guys do have understood about how you will be able to use bullets. But now let's turn off the bullets option over here. And let's go with backspace. Let me just type 1. Let me just type 2. Let me go 3 over here. And now we will check about this particular option known as numbering. Okay, so if you just want to number all of this over here, you guys can see this is how it will basically work by default. It will show you 1, 2, 3, and so on. Okay, but over here now there are also different options. Okay, so there, if you do want your numbering like first, second, third, if you do want it in 1, 2, 3 with dot, if you do want this kind of variable in the numbering, you guys can do that. If you want it in Roman numbers, or if you do want it in ABC, you guys can basically use all of these presets or numbering right over here. So there are a lot of formats available, and if you don't like for all of these formats, you guys can come here and you guys can basically define the new number format from here. Okay. So here it's also the same. Like if you do want to change the list level, if you want to indent it more on the right hand side, you guys need to go more down. The level will basically increase. The right side you want to go, okay, the indentation you want to change, that is basically the list level. But now let's go to define the numbering option. So in defining, first you need to select the number style. Okay, so over here there are a lot of style. Here you guys can see there is small Roman letters, there is big Roman letters, there is ABC, there is first, second, there is also 1, 2, 3, which is in letters. Here you do have 0, 1. There are also numbers which is being denoted by 0 as well. And if you don't like any of it, just click on font, and from here you guys can select things accordingly. And over here, if you want to check out the number format, you guys can check out the number format, and you can also select where do you want to align these numbers as well. Okay, so that is the way how you will be able to define a new number format over here. Now let's close it down and let's come here, and here if you do want to set the numbering value, okay, if you do want to start the numbering value from a different number, you guys can come here and you guys can basically choose from here and basically set the value accordingly. Okay, so let me just cancel this one. I hope you guys do have understood about bullets and numbering. And the next thing what we gonna learn over here is the multi-level list. So inside multi-level list here, you guys can basically see that it actually contains the normal number. It also contains a letter. It also contains Roman numbers. So if you want to level something according to this one, you guys can basically do that. And over here, you guys can see in this kind of list here, you do have one, then you do have 1.1, then you do have 1.1.1, and it just continues accordingly. And over here you guys can see inside this multi-level list you do have different kind of bullets as well, like a combination of bullets which will signify your points accordingly. Here also you do have a different options, and here choosing the level is the same as how it was in numbering and bullets. But over here, if you want to define a new multi-level list, you guys can come here and do that. And if you want to define a new list style, here basically you guys will be able to define those accordingly as well. Okay. So from here now, if you do want to create one, you guys can basically name it. Okay, if you do want to name something which you will remember quite easily, you guys can name it. Otherwise, by default, it will be saved as style 1, style 2, style 3, and it will just continue quite like that. And from here, if you don't want to start the numbering from 1, you can just start the numbering from 0 as well. Otherwise, you can just start with 1, or if you do want it from 2, you guys can do that. And also here, it's asking that where do you want to apply? So if you want to apply this formatting to first level, second level, or fourth level, It totally depends on you. And these levels are basically the indentation, which I was showing you guys, that if you do want to change the level, you guys can basically do it right from here. Here you guys are able to choose out the font color. If you want to apply italics to it, here you guys will be able to italics, and over here you guys can choose it. Okay, so here you guys can see if you do want to choose the Roman numbers, you guys can do that. You guys can select the indentation at the same time over here. And also if you come here now, if you are looking for these bullets, in that particular case you guys can come here and you guys can just work with bullets as well. So let me just come over here, let me just go with these 1 2 3, and on top in this particular box you guys are basically able to see the preview of how it will look once you apply it in your Word document. And over here, just underneath this particular box, you do have information about the things being applied over here in your new list, which you guys are creating. Here you guys will be able to see what is the font type being used, what is the font color, what is the level of indentation. Okay. And here you guys can check the numbering style. You guys can check on the alignment over here. Okay. And once all of this is done, you guys can just click on OK, and those will be applied accordingly. And over here now, once you're done with the list, let me just click on this by creating a multi-level list. So a list and a multi-level list both are different things. Okay. So if you like to modify it, you guys can come here and you guys can basically modify all of this lists. Let's say if I want to modify this first line of command, I can come here and basically let's say I want to change out the font. Let's go with 10, and I will just click on OK right over here, and you guys can see this is being changed. And now if I want to change the second number of line, I can come here and change it. Or let's say I do want it in Roman numbers, I can also do that. If I want it to be aligned at 1.5-degree angle, I can also do that. If you want your text to be indent at a different angle, you guys can also come here and you guys can do that. Okay, so the same way here you guys can basically apply it to different levels, let's say till level 9, and here you guys can basically see the preview of how it will look in this particular box itself. So well, once you are done, this particular thing will be applied and you guys can just click on OK. And here you guys can see those things are basically being applied. Okay, so let's go with this multi-level list. Here you guys can see that you are currently using this particular list which you have created and basically applied that as well. Okay, so over here, let me just select this one. And here you do have applied this multi-level list right over here. And yeah, I hope you guys to have understood about bullets and numbering in detail in this particular chapter. So I hope to see you all in the next chapter where we're gonna learn more about MS Word and its usage. So see you all in the next chapter. Till then, take care and goodbye everyone.